So talking about the 1200th episode of SmackDown and what they did on it, I got Ronda Rousey. And have they, would it be more possible to cool someone that was hot off if they just threw her in an ice bath or did that ice bucket challenge with her? And they keep putting her in these positions where not only does it require her to be an accomplished public speaker, an orator, a thespian, if you will, but also there's the whole attraction of Ronda Rousey was that she was real. She was legitimate, right? She was the real deal in the UFC. She was the judo champion. She was the baddest girl on the planet. So they not only bring her in here and they've been making her speak and try to get across this, whatever they've got her doing, that she ain't got her heart in it, or she can't do it, or whatever. Everybody's noticed she seems blah these days. But have you ever seen an arrest phony? Lou, how many times have you been arrested in your life? Be honest with the people.
Well, see, none that I care to discuss.
What? None? That you care to discuss, I guess, was the qualifier. But certainly you've seen, let's put it this way, you've seen people be arrested.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. See, now you're coming around. Was this the phoniest looking arrest you've ever seen in your life?
Boy, yeah. Even when it comes to the artifice and stagecraft of past law enforcement actions on WWE programming, yeah, this was not good. The so-called cops were, no, they were not very convincing.
You know, if you didn't see SmackDown, we're running off and leaving the folks. Let me give a brief synopsis. Ronda Rousey comes out even though she's been suspended, and Adam Pearce comes out with security and begs her to leave the premises. And Ronda Rousey, in about as threatening a way as I would talk to the mailman who I actually like, don't make me choose violence. And then security walks down to the ring awkwardly, two at a time. There's four of them. Two get in, and it's obvious that not only are they fake security, they've never done this before. They're scared to death. They don't know what to do. They just walk over and stand in a stagey way, and one tries to grab Ronda's arm, and Ronda does a few half-hearted kicks and a couple of judo throws, and the two first security guys bail out. And, of course, any security guy, always, once you're taken down by the perpetrator, you slide out and let the other security guys come in and handle it. Because once you've taken one bump, you're disqualified, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's in Security Academy.
That's the first
role is self-preservation.
If they take you down once, you got to slide out and let the rest of the guys fight to fight. So the first two slide out, and the second two come up on the apron, and one gets a knee lift, and then the other one gets in and gets a judo throw, and then she arm bars that guy, and I wish that the wrestlers had facials like this, because he really sold it, but the problem is it was even more flagrantly fakery that he was selling like that when he's a security, and he's tapping out. He's a security guy. He's trying to arrest somebody or detain somebody. He's tapping. So, oh, God damn it. So then Adam Pearce brings out two fake uniformed police, a man and a woman. Now, I might have bought that the woman was a real cop because she looked like one of those fucking, Maud from New Jersey type of cops, like an Italian or whatever. But the guy looked like he was 13 years old. And they're standing there so awkward looking, and they're trying to have stone face. And I'm obviously not breaking any news here or telling anybody any secrets. I've been arrested a time or two. And none of the cops, whether they didn't want to arrest me, but they were doing their duty, and there was a few of those at the arenas where we got a complaint, so we got to do it. Yeah, okay. Or whether they were really anxious to either one, they don't act like this. And so then they stare the baddest woman on the planet, Ronda Rousey, down. The woman is 5'4", and the man's, like I said, he'd get carted to buy bubble gum. And they stare her down, and she puts her wrists out and allows herself to be handcuffed and then walked out. And then the camera followed. Now, that was flat as a plate full of piss in the arena, by the way. People just went, what? And they just walked out. But the camera in the back following them to the out back of the arena, and there's Ronda Rousey trash talking them and bitching the whole way, and they're just still doing the stone face and what they believe to be the perp walk. Have none of these people ever been arrested? I refuse to believe that none of the people involved in the setup, or maybe that's why they need a few more of us old-time wrestling people that have been to the Crossbar Hotel, done some boarding with the warden, lived on the bounty of the county to set these things up. Because this is not a thing that's new in wrestling. I mean, they're in the old days, back in the pioneer days, 30s, 40s, whatever, actually, the cops used to arrest for real some of the wrestlers that either started a riot or engaged in what they believed to be disorderly conduct. You can go back and check the old newspaper files. In some cases, the cops weren't smart back then. A lot of people weren't smart in the 30s and 40s to the wrestling business. And if they saw the heel do something, they took it as seriously. And in some cases, they were arrested, which the promoter didn't go and bail the guy out and consider it great publicity. And then as the territories formed, sometimes that was worked, what used to happen for real, because the territory promoters, the local guys, they started knowing people that were on the police forces. And there's rules for, I've done some of these things with various law enforcement personnel, and there's different rules for what they can and can't do in uniform, out of uniform, depending on what law enforcement branch they're in. You've got city police, county police, sheriff's deputies, constables, game wardens, all that type of shit. And some of the boys have also doubled as cops. And in East Tennessee, Mongolian Stomper transferred prisoners for years for the police department there and the local prison system. And one of the guys that was friends with Buddy Landell, Kim Birchfield, ran for sheriff up in Johnson City and did an angle with us one time where I think he arrested Buddy and took him to jail. But the point is, all you have to do if you're going to do an arrest, and it's not, these arrests are not even as legitimate looking and as believable or as convincing as the fake ones on dramatic television shows. Get a goddamn technical advisor. Some wrestler on that roster has a good friend or some family member or somebody he knows in law enforcement. I can't believe we've gotten that far away from that. All the boys used to know a cop. That's why we had Dean Hill here in Louisville. The OVW announcer was retired from the Louisville Police Force after 25 years, was a member of the SWAT team at one time, bodyguarded people after. He knew what the fuck. He arrested somebody in OVW for us, or had him arrested one time. The point is, you get somebody real, and it's a national television program. Fly them the fuck in to wherever. One legitimate cop that's with it, that's smart to the business, and obviously not a mark, but smart to the business, and have them either pick extras that look like that they would actually be on some type of force,
right,
and teach them how to act that way, and then walk through a legitimate arrest with them. And if Rhonda's got once they make it too showbiz, because once she's done the judo throw and gotten a fucking kimura on somebody, that's when she needs to get swarmed, and then it looks real. You don't have any real security personnel or especially any real uniformed, legitimate police officers taking bumps over and over for anybody. Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, whatever the fuck. It just don't happen that way. They don't allow themselves to be opened up like that. If you had one good bump-taking security guard that potentially might be 45 years old, so they didn't look like the indie goddamn wrestling school of the moment, and he puts his hands on her in a legitimate way, and she does a legitimate throw, and the other one goes, I've seen Dennis Condrey do this, actually to a cop. When the cops turned on us in Saginaw, Michigan, after we jumped on a mark that kicked Bobby, Dennis was on the mark, and one of the cops tried to fucking grab him and put him in a fucking hammerlock. And he blocked the fucking hammerlock on his right arm with his left arm behind his back to his wrist. I'm leaning over in the microphone now, actually doing this in my home. And fucking came back out around, and the cop got fucking hot. But the point is, one judo throw, one of them grabs her arm, and she fucking locks on a double wrist lock real quick, and everybody else is going to swarm her. And that's the way it's going to, and that would look legitimate. And then when she's down and they say, stop resisting, then she can get the fire in her fucking eyes, and she can look up at Pierce, whoever's instigated this, and she can make the goddamn comment that you can take me out now, but you can't take me out for good. I'll be back.
Right.
Fuck, and then drag her out. You know how they used to carry the fans out of the Louisville Gardens when they'd hit the ring? One cop would put them in a full Nelson, and the other cop would hook their fucking legs up like a wheelbarrow behind him, and they would carry that mother. His feet wouldn't touch the floor from the time they left the ring till the time they got in the back alley. That's the way. And if you're going to do something like that, don't just do fake television. Get it over.
Right. Yeah. It's, I think it's just, I don't know if the folks in creative or whomever are just kind of get lazy and fall into these tropes where they don't, okay, we're gonna do this, and I think the fan base is conditioned now to be like, okay, here's where the indie talent comes in, or the wrestling school, here come Jacques Rougeau students in this case or something.
I'm not even going to malign any young wrestling school students. Some of those guys may be great workers, but the thing is, for fuck's sake, they don't look like police or security. They look like they're 12-year-old intimidated, scared. I know there's 40-year-old independent wrestling stars out there. Fly some of them in.
Right.
But these guys didn't look like they could throw out the baby's bathwater. So
yeah. And, when you mention knowing people who are cops, you got to think, I thought of at least one WWE alumnus, Rico Constantino.
Yeah. Rico could throw you out. He could throw anybody out. That's the thing. It's not that hard.
Right. Yeah. And then the cops, in air quotes, take out Ronda Rousey, put her in the vehicle. And then, let's see, right before that, Ronda put the button on the whole segment by looking at Adam Pearce and saying, nice haircut.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like,
that's what I'm saying when I'm going to jail. I'm going to fucking make a sarcastic, non-profane remark at the guy that pressed charges on me or whatever.
Right. Especially when he's smooth as a hard-boiled egg on top.